Continuing to talk about cellular processes, vitamins are the first of the micronutrients that we'll talk about, micro being only necessary in very small quantities. Vitamins are organic substances that are essential to nutrition, that are absolutely required, but they're only required in small amounts. The fat-soluble vitamins are vitamins that will not dissolve in water, but will dissolve in fat. And the fat-soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K. Now, because they do not dissolve in water, they are held in the body much more stringently, and thus you can overdose on a fat-soluble vitamin. Water-soluble vitamins, which are the other vitamins, if you take too much of those, then the excess is just moved out of the body through the kidneys. But fat-soluble vitamins, you can't do that. And so it is possible to overdose on fat-soluble vitamins. Also, fat-soluble vitamins are the absorption of fat is important for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. And so if a person is having problems absorbing fat for whatever reason, they will develop these vitamin deficiencies. Water-soluble vitamins, which are the B-complex vitamins, C and folic acid, they cannot result in an overdose, and they are not as affected by fat absorption in the gut in terms of their absorption. Hormones, we mentioned hormones before, they can be either peptide or steroid compounds, and they impact distant metabolic processes. These hormones act much like the nervous system. The difference between the nervous system and hormones is the nervous system is quick and hormones are slow. Hormones tend to affect metabolism, as does the nervous system, but they tend to do it for a long time, whereas the nervous system tends to be over short periods of time. Nucleic acids are the basic genetic material, DNA and RNA. We've talked about these in biology. And the gene is essentially a chain of nucleic acids that carry genetic information. So like a protein is a chain of amino acids, a gene is a chain of nucleic acids. A chromosome is basically an aggregation of genes that are stored in the nucleus of cells. Now the difference between RNA and DNA is the central sugar. Deoxyribose is the central sugar in DNA, and ribose is the central sugar in RNA. And that's the essential difference. There's one other difference in terms of the complementary base pairs. So here's an example or a drawing looking at deoxyribose on the left and ribose on the right. And the square shows the essential difference between these two sugars. Now, this is what's called cyclic or D-cyclic MP. And basically, this is one of the nucleotides. It has the central sugar. It has a side chain, which is cytidine, and it has the phosphate. So a series of these come together to form DNA. Now, if this central sugar was ribose, then it would be RNA. So here is how the DNA molecule is constructed, and you can see that the phosphates represent the backbone of each single chain, and that the various bases hang out in the air. And then the other string of DNA comes along and binds, the complementary bases bind to each other to form the double helix. This is one half of the double helix.